All right. Good morning, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. My name's CJ Curry. It's the CJ Curry Show, and it's presented by PrizePicks. PrizePicks making daily fantasy sports simple for you. You pick your favorite stars from your favorite sports, decide whether they're going to go for more or less on their given projection. Pick up to 2, 3, 4, 5, and more recently, even up to 6 players, and get up to 25 times your money. Use promo code Curry. Every dollar you put in, they're going to match it all the way up to $100. If you're not a PrizePicks member yet, you're depositing for the first time. Instant deposit match awaits you. Again, promo code Curry. Take advantage of that offer. I've left a link down in the description of today's video to make it easy peasy to get you signed up for PrizePicks today. How did everybody do yesterday? We had a fantastic Taco Tuesday. What did we have? 3 for 3 on the tacos that PrizePicks posted for us to take. I love when the tacos hit, right? It's always a good day when the tacos hit. I believe we had a soccer taco. Didn't take that one. I ended up missing that one. But that one did end up coming through clutch for anybody that did take it. And then we had, what, 2 NBA tacos? Luka Doncic over points. What was the other one? Jeremy Grant, I think? Were those the 2 tacos? Or did we have another taco? Was there an SGA taco, or am I thinking of... No, that was the night before, Cyber Monday. But 2 tacos, right? Luka Doncic, Jeremy Grant. Both of those guys ended up cashing their tacos. So shout out to the taco chefs. Ended up coming through clutch for us yesterday. Yeah. So hopefully you guys were able to take advantage of a 3 for 3 taco type of day on PrizePicks. Shout out to PrizePicks for making that happen. I absolutely, undoubtedly took advantage of it, especially that Jeremy Grant taco. I ended up making a same game parlay in that Portland Los Angeles Clippers game that ended up going for 25x, a 25x payout. I'd like to look at that if you guys don't mind. I'd like to look at that entry and kind of explain to you how I landed on the picks that I landed on, and talk about some near almost fatal, crucial mistakes that I made too. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. We'll talk about that 6 for 6 I hit last night for 25x. Posted that one in Discord for the Patreon members to tail. I don't know if many people tailed it. Posted it about 20 minutes before the game locked at 10:10 p.m. Eastern time, but I posted it nonetheless. It was there. I can't force you to drink. All right, I can only lead you to the water, so to speak. But shout out to all of our Patreon members, everybody who's in Discord supporting the show through Patreon. Appreciate all of you guys, of course. Let's run through the chat real quick. We got Todd, Live for Sundays. He's saying, my Wednesday and Thursday off days, and I love being here with CJ and all of you. Let's nail this big slate today, everyone. Good luck. Appreciate you being here, Todd. Bearded Gator said, it's another day having to redeposit for me. Had 4 out of 6. My fault for going over on Simon's assists. Didn't realize under was a play till too late, and Reggie Jackson doing his best point guard impression. Yeah, the Anthony Simons play did not become a play for me until they bumped him up to 5.5 assists. Once PrizePicks bumped him up to 5.5 assists, I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and take the under because there's so much juice on the under at 5.5. At 5, I was a take the over at 5 because I thought there was a good chance maybe he ties at least with 5 assists with Damian Lillard being out. And we know that he's hit 5 or more without Dame in a pretty high hit rate, right? Anthony says, hello, CJ. Last night was a rough night with only 3 games. Hopefully today will be better. Well, we did pretty well on Patreon picks yesterday. I posted 4 picks to Patreon. They ended up going 3-1. Mitchell Robinson over first half fantasy score. Cash that. Luka Doncic over 2.5 3-point makes. Cash that. We also went with Yusuf Nurkic over 28.5 PRA full game. Cash that. The only one that failed us, and I prefaced this pick on Patreon by saying, play this as a flex play only, meaning don't power it because, there's a chance that he could sell. It was Reggie Jackson under 6.5 assists. I thought the assists were a little too high for Reggie Jackson at 6.5. Boy, was I wrong. I mean, there was a point in time where it looked like the Clippers were going to get blown out by Portland. They came all the way back from like 20 points down, ended up winning that game, ended up beating the Portland Trail Blazers. So Reggie Jackson went over his 6.5 assist line. But we went 3-1. Guys, the Patreon picks over the last 3 days are 12-2. 12-2. It doesn't get a whole lot better than that. I'm doing my best, trying to put in the research, the time, the effort to post these picks on Patreon for those of you who are paying the $20 a month. Hopefully, you have made at least your $20 back by now. 3 straight days, 12-2 run over those last 3 days. It doesn't get a whole lot better than that for $20 a month. I'm just saying. Running through the rest of these comments, Neville's in the building. Shout out to Neville. Joseph Thomas says, CJ, I'm going to tail your picks in Patreon today. No doubt about it. Well, I appreciate that, Joseph. I do my best. I don't hit every day like that. I don't always go on 12-2 3-day streaks like this, but it's been good lately. So I try to do my best like I do here every day on YouTube for you guys. I go above and beyond. Anthony says, does your Patreon include picks in Discord? Yes, I posted, like I said, 4 picks yesterday, 4 picks the day before. Those 2 days, we went a combined 6-2. And then going back to Sunday, I posted 6 NFL picks, and those went 6 for 6. So that's where you get the 12-2 over the last 3 days. Ronald's Green with the what's up. Mo says, what's up, gang? Let's build off of a profitable Taco Tuesday. I'm glad you were able to profit, Mo. Neville says, what's up? What's up? Back to you, Neville. I guess somebody got a free 5 pick somehow. Maybe it was for the platinum members. There's some PrizePicks members out there that are platinum PrizePicks members. So, my man Anthony Tony Ruiz had himself a great night last night. I think he hit 6 picks for 25x. Huge day for you, man. I saw that. Congratulations. When do I drop picks on Patreon? Well, every single day. Usually later in the afternoon, on a big slate like this, there's probably a lot of teams with a lot of pending injury news, right? So I try to find picks that aren't impacted by potential injuries. But every day, every afternoon, I post picks every day, every afternoon. Easy for me to say. But yeah, if you're looking for a community, family friendly atmosphere, no egos, no people in there who are, trying to, cut each other's throats, not literally, but figuratively. We're all just trying to help each other profit. We're all just trying to help each other win. Wait till December 1st. Wait till tomorrow to join so that you get the most bang for your buck. But yeah, it's $20 a month. I mean, you win a single, $1 $10 2-pick power play, and you should make $20, and that covers your entire month of Patreon. If you can't win a 2-pick power play being a part of this community, something's really wrong. With your bankroll management, your strategy, something's really wrong if you can't win a single $10 2-pick power play over the course of an entire month. That's all you have to do. One $10 2-pick power play, you net a $20 profit, and it pays for itself. I don't know. I try to make it easy for you guys, but anyway. D'Angelo's in the building. He says, happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy hour for 6 mans. You can turn $3 into 75. You can turn $1 into 25. Yeah, it's a great day to take some shots on some of these 6-pick flex entries on the happy hour specials. So, Randall went off. Nobody told me it was Julius Randle's birthday yesterday. Guys, we got to do a better job of figuring out when these guys are having birthdays. It was Julius Randle's 29th birthday. I had no idea it was his birthday. You know how those narratives work. Guys tend to get a little hype, try to maybe do a little bit extra on their birthdays, it seems like. And Julius Randle was absolutely bonkers in the first half yesterday. So my bad. I didn't know it was Julius Randle's birthday. Sorry, Julius. Had I known you were celebrating your 29th trip around, the sun, I would have, probably faded going under on Julius Randle. He came out absolutely lights out, stroking threes in the first quarter. I forget how many first quarter points he had, but he had like 17 or something. I mean, he went off. Julius Randle went off. Shout out to everybody else that's in here. If I missed you, no problem. No personal qualms or issues with you, but shout out to you, to everybody that I might have missed. Let's get into it today, guys. I want to talk about some dribble real quick. We're going to try and solve today's dribble mystery player. We're trying to connect Tyler Harrell with Kevin Huerter. Now, this one should be fairly easy. I would say fairly easy because these guys haven't been in the league very long. Tyler Harrell's been with the Miami Heat for a few years, right? Kevin Huerter started off with Atlanta. Now he's with Sacramento. So it should be pretty easy, I think, for us to kind of connect these two young players who really haven't been around the block when it comes to the NBA. All right. Really hasn't been around the league for very long. So who are some players that we could think of that have played with both Tyler Harrell and Kevin Huerter, right? We got to be thinking of players that have been on the Hawks or currently on the Hawks. Maybe some players that have been with the Kings or are currently on the Kings, teams that Kevin Huerter's been on, right? Or maybe some guys that have been on Miami at one point and now are playing for, I don't know, Sacramento. D'Angelo is saying KZ Okpala. Now you're digging deep on that one, bro. KZ Okpala. I don't even know who KZ Okpala has played for. But if you know this, I am super impressed. Guys, I'm going to guess it. I'm going to go with D'Angelo here. It is KZ Okpala. Would have never guessed him. You could give me 1,000 guesses. I probably would have never come to KZ Okpala like that. Shout out to you, D'Angelo, for knowing that. He's a Miami Heat fan. Well, I guess that explains it. If you're a Miami Heat fan, you should probably know something like that, huh? KZ Okpala is the right answer. Super impressed by that. Is there any other players, D'Angelo, that you could think of that qualify outside of KZ Okpala? Like, is there any other players that would also meet this criteria, like a one-guess guy that we could drum up? I don't know. I never would have guessed KZ Okpala, though. That's huge. That's big. So shout out to you for knowing that. You're a true Miami Heat fan. All right, I mentioned to you guys that I wanted to take a look at yesterday's six pick that I ended up hitting. So let's go look at that real quick. Pulling up PrizePicks here. Guys, you can see it right here for yourself. It was a $25, because that's the taco maximum limit, right? $25 six pick entry that ended up going 6 for 6. So I kind of wanted to do a, we'll call it an entry review, so to speak, and kind of let you into my mindset, how I ended up going 6 for 6 on this and hitting for a 25x payout. Now, I'd like to say that there's some secret sauce or recipe. There really isn't, all right? There really isn't. It does require some luck. It absolutely requires some luck. Let me show you how I landed on this. Let's go back real quick. All right, because this was not my first entry. I placed this one at 9:51 p.m. Eastern time yesterday, but that was not the first one that I placed with this Jeremy Grant taco. In fact, the first one I placed with the Jeremy Grant taco was this guy, and you can see I refunded it, put the whole 25 on it, but I refunded it. This was at 9:27 p.m. Why did I refund this one? Well, I dropped it in there. I felt pretty good about these. Anthony Simons over 5 assists. We know that, typically he gets 5 or more without Damian Lillard in there. So I was feeling good about the over. Ivica Zubac. I was thinking with Jusuf Nurkic, there's no way Zubac has as good of a game. Historically, Zubac hasn't performed so hot against Jusuf Nurkic. Zubac versus Nurkic. Zubac hasn't really had great games against Nurkic. So I was like, I'll go under on his rebounds. And then I had Reggie Jackson, as I mentioned before, going less than 6.5 assists. Well, guess what, gang? The reason I refunded this is because I thought twice about it. I said, listen, if we're going to go for 6 for 6, right, we can't have any props in here that could potentially make us tie. So Anthony Simons could have ended up with 5 assists. I said, nah, forget that. Forget that. I'm going to refund. I don't want a 5 assist performance from Anthony Simons. Like, we don't want to tie and potentially have like a 5 pick. Or tie and potentially go with a 4 pick, right? If Simons ends up with 5 assists, if Zubac ends up with 11 rebounds, we would have been down to a 5 or a 4 pick. I wanted to go for the home run, so I refunded. And then I ended up with this little guy. At 9:44 p.m., I put this one in. Now, why did I refund this one? It's going to sound stupid, but for the same reasons as below, right? Couple of things changed here from 9:27 p.m. to 9:44 p.m. I thought Reggie Jackson was still at 6.5 assists. I did not pay close and careful attention. I looked at it after I hit submit and realized Reggie Jackson has been bumped down to 6 assists from 6.5. And as I mentioned before, I didn't want any players in my 6 pick that could potentially tie. And Reggie Jackson at 6 assists could have tied, could have pushed. And you'll also notice that instead of Anthony Simons over 5 assists, I realized he had been bumped up to 5.5. I went and checked the books real quick. When I checked the books, he was a big betting favorite to go under 5.5 assists. So I said, hey, with that kind of juice, with that kind of action coming in on the under, he's now at 5.5 on PrizePicks. I'm going to take a shot. But I ended up refunding this after I saw Reggie Jackson had been bumped to 6. I did not realize he had been bumped down to 6 after I had hit submit, or before I hit submit. So I refunded this one, 9:44 p.m. And then you get to 9:51 p.m., about 7 minutes later. Here's what I ended up landing on that ended up getting me the 25x payout. Anthony Simons, I stuck with him under 5.5 assists. Like I said, there was a lot of action, a lot of juice on the sports books at 5.5, coming in on the under. So I said, screw it. I'm not going to go against the grain today. I'm going to ride with the public. The public was taking the under on Simons under 5.5 assists in what was supposed to be a low scoring game, right? Low total game. So I went ahead and rode with that one. I was already on Jusuf Nurkic over 28.5 PRA. I posted that one to Patreon. That was a Patreon pick. I liked the matchup against Zubac, especially without Damian Lillard. This guy's got really nice hit rates without Dame on 28.5 PRA. So I rode with that one. Josh Hart was one that I added at 10.5 points. At 10.5 points, he has not hit this number at a very high clip this season. So I said, I'm going to go under on Josh Hart. Plus, I saw him as low as 9.5 on some sports books out there. So I saw a point of value here. PrizePicks had him at 10.5. I saw him on the sports books at 9.5. So I said, I'm going to shoot my shot here with Josh Hart less than 10.5 points. So that one ended up hitting. Norman Powell at 21.5 points and rebounds. He was at 22.5 points in rebounds on some sports books. So we were getting a discount at 21.5. Well, he ended up crushing the 21.5 and the 22.5 points in rebounds. So I took the over on Norman Powell at 21.5 points in rebounds because we were getting a point of value, a discount here on PrizePicks. And the same situation with Terrence Mann. I saw Terrence Mann at 21.5 PRA on some sports books. So I said at 21.5 on some of these sports books, he's a point higher on PrizePicks. Let me take the under and see what happens. And I did take the under. Terrence Mann being a young player, he was not in the game in the final minutes of like the fourth quarter. Ty Lue went with his veterans. Your Nick Batums, your Morrises, your Reggie Jacksons, your Zubaches, right? He did not play Terrence Mann a whole lot. It was the Norman Powell show, in fact. So that's why I took the under on him. And then, of course, Jeremy Grant was the taco. But that's basically how I landed on this 6 out of 6 for a 25x payout. I found some value plays. I found some value with Norman Powell, with Terrence Mann, with Josh Hart. They were either a point higher or lower on PrizePicks. So I kind of shopped some lines, compared PrizePicks to some sports books. I was just locked in on Jusuf Nurkic. I thought the 28.5 PRA was a great spot for him. And then Anthony Simons, too much juice coming in on the under at 5.5 assists. So I ended up taking the under on 5.5 after PrizePicks bumped him up from 5 to 5.5. And there you go. That's the secret. That's how I got to 6 out of 6 last night after refunding these two lines, right? Refunded this one at 9:27 p.m. Put this one in at 9:44 p.m. This would have cashed for a 2x payout, but we didn't want to go for 2x. We wanted to go for 6 for 25x, and that's how I ended up landing on this. Turned 25 into 625, a net profit of $600. All right, so that's how I did it. Let's get into today's NBA slate. Let's see if I can help you guys maybe put the pieces together to get your own 25x payout. I appreciate everybody being here. If you're not subscribed yet, we're really, really close. We're really close to 7,000 subscribers. I'd love to hit that today. So if you're not subscribed yet, if you're not already hitting that like button yet, go ahead and do that now. Let's run the subs up to as many as we can. Share this video with a friend. Share my channel with somebody who you know that is into prop betting, into playing on PrizePicks, etc. Let's try to get to 7,000 subscribers today, all right? With all that being said, we got a huge slate tonight. Let's get through it. All right, 7 o'clock tip-off. We've got Philadelphia at Cleveland. This game's got a total of just 210.5. Very low total game here, so be careful taking too many overs from this game. You want to be very selective on which overs you take from this game. Low total games mean fewer possessions. Fewer possessions means less opportunities for guys to score points, for guys to get rebounds, for guys to get assists, blocks, steals, all the things that we love, right? So don't take too many overs from this game. James Harden's still out for Philadelphia. No surprise there. Tyrese Maxey is still out as well. So it's going to be Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris. We've seen some pretty good games from both Shake Milton and DeAnthony Melton recently. So those guys will be holding things down in the backcourt until Harden and Maxey return. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, Lamar Stevens, game time decision. No Jarrett Allen, no Kevin Love. So they're going to be very thin in the front court. Joel Embiid versus Evan Mobley and or Dean Wade. Seems like a pretty good matchup for Joel Embiid tonight. Moving on to Atlanta versus Orlando. I mentioned it on yesterday's show. We got news that Markelle Fultz would make his season debut tonight. And it looks like, according to the injury report for the Magic, that Cole Anthony is going to rejoin the starting lineup as well. So we're going to have Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz holding down the backcourt. Jalen Suggs is out. All right. Wendell Carter Jr. is also out. Mo Bamba, game time decision. So the Magic, very deep team. Lots of young talent, lots of injuries, lots of different names and players and faces entering the starting lineup, leaving the starting lineup. So it's been a team that I haven't really bet on a whole lot. It's my favorite team, obviously. Obviously, it's my favorite team. But I would not recommend betting on them. They just have too many moving parts, too many different seat changes, we'll call it, in their starting lineup. Hard to figure out who's going to do what. There is, however, a little narrative here. I don't know if you guys pay attention to the NBA in the offseason, but Paolo Banchero, DeJounte Murray, they got into a little squabble, a little feud, a little friendly rivalry, we'll call it, in one of these summer league, pickup games, these pro-am leagues. We had Banchero and DeJounte Murray chirping at each other. So I'd like to think that maybe Banchero plays with a little chippy chip on his shoulder tonight going up against DeJounte Murray. And maybe Murray, plays with a chip on his shoulder tonight too and tries to prove himself against Banchero and the Orlando Magic. But yes, Southeastern rivalry game here between Atlanta and Orlando. As far as injuries go for the Atlanta Hawks, nothing really major happening there. It's a 227-point total with a 6-point spread. So hopefully it ends up being a competitive game down here in Florida. But Miami at Boston, 7:30 p.m. Another team dealing with a plethora, a long list of injuries is the Miami Heat. And I don't know what's going on with the Miami Heat. It's been a team that has been on my do not play list, my DNP list. Because if you look at all the names, all the injuries, how many guys do they have with a game time decision designation or has already been ruled out? A lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 guys who are either game time decisions or who have been ruled out. So no Jimmy Butler here. He's probably the biggest one. But the only guys that have been solid lately have been Kyle Lowry and Bam Adebayo. Tyler Herro, game time decision. We're not sure if he's going to play. Martin, Strus, both game time decisions. It looks like they're leaning more toward playing than not playing. But it's hard to figure out what's going to happen here with this Miami Heat team. So for me, it's an avoid. I'm going to avoid that team altogether, that situation altogether. On the Boston side, we saw Jaylen Brown sit out in the last game, as did Al Horford. Al Horford's expected to play tonight. Jaylen Brown, a true game time decision. His status is currently up in the air. But 224.5 points. It's a 9.5 point spread. It's favoring Boston. If some of these Miami Heat starters end up in the game tonight, then I would imagine that spread starts to shrink a little bit and we have a little bit more of a competitive game. But for right now, I'm avoiding that game. There's too many other good games out there than for me to try to figure out who's playing for Miami, who's in for Boston. Will Boston have an easier matchup if some of these Miami guys are? I'm just going to stay away from it for right now. But 7:30 brings us another game that's pretty interesting here. Washington versus Brooklyn. Now, the Nets have their own list of injuries, being Ben Simmons being the biggest one here. He is ruled out, so no Ben Simmons tonight. So it's Kyrie Irving, Seth Curry, Kevin Durant, Royce O'Neal, and Nick Claxton taking the floor. They're going to be going up against Washington, who will be without DeLon Wright and Rui Hachimura. This one has a nice total, 229.5 with a 5.5 point spread. I'll tell you this, right off rip, I looked at Bradley Beal's point prop today. I think he was at 23.5 points. And I thought, that looked kind of low. That looked kind of low to me. So I had my eye on the Bradley Beal point prop. We'll have to look at that one a little bit closer. 7:30 p.m. between Milwaukee and New York. I took Mitchell Robinson over his first half fantasy score yesterday against the Detroit Pistons, and it ended up smashing. He ended up playing really, really well against Detroit yesterday. This game's got a total of 228. Milwaukee favored by 6 points. No Serge Ibaka, no Joe Ingles. We did get some Chris Middleton news. Chris Middleton is going to be in the G League, on the G League affiliate for the Milwaukee Bucks. So Chris Middleton getting closer and closer to making his return back to the starting lineup for the Milwaukee Bucks. If I'm not mistaken, Grayson Allen has low-key been hitting his points props lately. So if he's at like 9.5, maybe even 10.5 points in a game with a total of 228, Grayson Allen may be a sneaky, decent play the way that he has been shooting and scoring the basketball lately. Toronto at New Orleans at 8 o'clock. We got 222.5 points, just a 1-point spread. It's favoring the Toronto Raptors, so this game is supposed to stay close and competitive. Not the highest total in the world. Keep an eye on CJ McCollum. Game time decision. Brandon Ingram is out. I called my shot on Zion Williamson's assists in the last game. He's at 4.5 assists with no CJ McCollum, no Brandon Ingram. Pretty much, let me put it to you like this. If Brandon Ingram is ever out and Zion Williamson sitting at like 4.5 assists, you should probably think about taking the over, because I think he's 3 for 3 this season at 4.5 assists with Brandon Ingram out. And I believe some of those games even included games with CJ McCollum in. So it's more about Brandon Ingram. But if Zion's at 4.5 assists and you got a decent game total and the game's expected to stay close, I would not be afraid of playing Zion over 4.5 assists. He's smashed it in every game that Brandon Ingram has been out. As far as the Toronto Raptors, we saw Pascal Siakam make his return back into the starting lineup. They're still missing Precious Achiuwa and Otto Porter Jr., but they're going to have their core four. Actually, I take that back. I don't see Scotty Barnes in the starting lineup, but I also don't see him on the injury report. Anybody know what's happening with Scotty Barnes? Any Raptors fans out there who can tell me what's going on with Scotty Barnes? Is he in or out tonight? Keep an eye on that one, though. Scotty Barnes, definitely one who could be an impactful piece of injury news. 8 o'clock, we got a few games, a couple games tipping off at 8 p.m. Memphis at Minnesota. This one has the potential for fireworks. 231.5 point total. It's a 2.5 point spread. They think Memphis is going to win this game on the road, traveling to Minnesota. For the Memphis Grizzlies, Desmond Bane still out. Dillon Brooks status, we don't know. It's currently up in the air. We don't know if he's going to be in or out tonight going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. If Dillon Brooks is out, then that would leave the Memphis Grizzlies rather thin in the backcourt, and especially at that shooting guard position. More of a workload, I would say, for Ja Morant, right? We could see Ja go crazy. Maybe Jaren Jackson Jr. going up against Kyle Anderson would be a favorable matchup. Why do I say Kyle Anderson and not Karl Anthony Towns? Well, Karl Anthony Towns is out. He's expected to miss some time. He will be out for a little bit. I forget exactly how long, but he's going to be out for a while. Good little while. So they're going to be without Karl Anthony Towns. So D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, maybe even Rudy Gobert steps up to the plate and scores a little bit more. He's going up against Steven Adams tonight. Not the easiest matchup in the world, with Big Steve, a.k.a. Aquaman, on the other side. 8 p.m. tip-off between the San Antonio Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Listen, two really young teams who like to run and gun, who get up and down the floor here, which is why your total's sitting at a nice 232 with Oklahoma City as a 5-point favorite. Right now, they're saying that SGA is a game-time decision, I guess. His name is Gray, which means he may not play. Keep an eye on SGA. If he is out, I will be very disappointed, because this is a great spot. Great spot for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander here versus the San Antonio Spurs. If he's in, I really, really like him in this game. For the Spurs, though, they got their own injury news here. A whole bunch of injury news. The most impactful, I guess, would be Jakob Poeltl not going to play tonight. So in his place, Zach Collins will start. No Jeremy Sochan either. He is also out. So it's going to be Zach Collins. You got Keldon Johnson. Maybe Romeo Langford enters the starting lineup, but I could expect Keldon Johnson and maybe Devin Vassell to have pretty good games against OKC. I like this spot. Fun game. Houston at Denver at 9 o'clock. This game tips off one of the later games, 231.5 points with an 11.5 point spread. I believe these two teams just faced each other one game ago, and in that game, I took Jamal Murray for more than 14.5 first half PRA, and it ended up hitting. Michael Porter Jr. was out for that game. He's going to be out for this game as well. So I'm saying I think he's at 14.5 PRA again today for his first half, Jamal Murray. You might just want to click the rinse and repeat button. You might just want to run Jamal Murray back versus Kevin Porter and Jalen Green, because the Houston Rockets are just giving it up to opposing guards, especially point guards. And Jamal Murray looks like he's healthy. Looks like he's all the way back for the most part, right? Had himself a great game against Houston in the last one, so maybe we just run that thing back. But it's an 11.5 point spread, so there is major blowout potential here. So for me, I'm only looking at this game for first half plays only. That's a first half only type of game for me. 9 p.m. also brings us Chicago versus Phoenix. Still no Chris Paul. He's going to be out for Phoenix. That's the big news here. Lonzo Ball still out for Chicago. You've got Caruso, Dosunmu, Dragic. 3 of their top point guard / shooting guards are all game time decisions, but I think they're closer to playing than not. Outside of that, nothing really crazy happening here. Good total, 228.5 points with a 5.5 point spread. Then we got the Clippers versus the Jazz, also tipping off at 9 p.m. We just saw the Clippers last night in a comeback victory, right? They ended up beating Portland, right? Came all the way back and beat Portland. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, pretty sure. So big win for the Clippers last night. It looked like they were dead. Like they were dead in the water, but they ended up digging themselves out of a 20-point hole and beating a young Portland Trailblazers team without Damian Lillard. Anthony Simons was absolutely on fire. I don't know if you guys watched that game, but Simons was blowing my mind. He was blowing my mind. One of the best young guards in the league today. Doesn't get talked about enough, but 224.5 points between these two teams, 7-point spread. Nothing really crazy on the Jazz side. Mike Conley Jr. is still going to be out, so it's going to be the Jordan Clarkson and Colin Sexton show in the backcourt for the Jazz. Moving on to Indiana versus Sacramento, we've got some narratives here, some revenge narratives in this game. Who are we talking about? We're talking about Tyrese Halliburton versus the Sacramento Kings, the team that traded him away for Domantas Sabonis, our thumbnail player of the game. So Sabonis, once a Pacer, got traded for Halliburton, who was once a King. You've also got some other guys like Buddy Hield, who might have an axe to grind with the Sacramento Kings, right? We could see Buddy Hield taking out some revenge on his former team, the Sacramento Kings. So yeah, we got some players who used to play on the opposing squads taking the floor tonight. Listen, guys, huge total here, 242.5 points. 242.5 points. 4.5 point spread too. This one is one to target some overs on. If you want to take more on some props, this is probably a fun one to take some overs on. 10:30, last game of the night. Portland, as we mentioned, played last night. They're going to play again tonight on a back-to-back against the Los Angeles Lakers. It looks like AD and LeBron both going to play tonight. They are probable, very likely to play according to RotoWire here. Damian Lillard still out. He's not going to play. Keep an eye on Nas Little. He ended up leaving the game early last night against the Clippers. Yusuf Nurkic could be in a good spot against LA if he could stay out of foul trouble. That's always the issue when you play bigs against the Lakers. Like, yeah, the Lakers suck against opposing big guys, but you'll also have to worry about foul trouble, right? We don't want to play overs on Yusuf Nurkic if he's going to be out there picking up ticky-tack fouls against Anthony Davis, trying to keep him in check. But nice total of 224.5 with a 5.5 point spread. Guys, we made it. We're to the end, right? We got through all the games. Huge slate tonight, though. Lots of different ways to go. I would avoid the teams with a lot of pending injury news until closer to tip-off. Let's take a look at the PrizePicks board and see what's standing out, what's looking good. I already mentioned a couple of plays that kind of caught my eye. Let's go take a look at them together. I really don't have anything like tuned up, planned for us to talk about, but just quickly we'll scan through the board and then I'll start taking some questions from you guys. We'll start doing some research together. Pretty big slate tonight. Lots of different ways to go. Running through these, I mentioned that we had some revenge narrative between DeJounte Murray at 20.5 points going up against an Orlando Magic team that typically does like to give it up to opposing backcourts, right? We have a hard time, we being the Orlando Magic, of keeping point guards in check. So this could either benefit one of two people. This could benefit DeJounte Murray, who's at 20.5. I only mention him because, like I said, him and Banchero, they got into a little feud, we'll call it. They were chirping at one another out in one of these Pro-Am summer leagues. And then that kind of like boiled over to social media, right? I think they've smoothed things over now, but in the back of their heads, these guys are competitors. They're probably looking to get back at one another, right? And have a good game against one another. But you can see the Magic giving up over 26 points per game to point guards. Now, that, again, could benefit DeJounte Murray. It could benefit his teammate, Trae Young. Let's look at the shooting guards real quick. Orlando versus shooting guards. The Magic giving up over 21, nearly 22 points per game to shooting guards as well. So, you got Murray, you got Young. Who's the point guard? Who's the shooting guard? Who knows? Who cares? The Magic are giving up quite a few points to both point guards and shooting guards. So both of these guys are probably in a pretty good spot. And then we mentioned Banchero at 20.5 points. Again, a guy who got into it with DeJounte Murray. Maybe he looks out and sees DeJounte Murray, plays with a little bit of extra fuel tonight. Going up against an Atlanta Hawks team giving up over 23 points per game to opposing power forwards. That's a top 10 number in the points per game to power forward department, right? So the Hawks not necessarily defending opposing power forwards very well. So Paolo Banchero could be in a good spot. If you wanted to run like a little same game parlay type of deal, maybe you just take these two guys and let them duke it out on the floor. Take the overs on both of these guys. What are you guys thinking? Are we riding in any of these narratives here? DeJounte Murray, Paolo Banchero. Do you think they've buried the hatchet, or do you think these guys are going to come out looking to kill one another? I think they're both in a good spot, though, as far as the DVP goes, both in a top 10 spot. Orlando giving up a top 10 number as far as points per game to point guards. Paolo Banchero versus the Hawks. Hawks giving up a top 10 number when it comes to points per game to power forward. So both of these guys look like they're in pretty good spots. Scanning through the rest of the board here, what else do we like? Well, I mentioned one guy, Bradley Beal. I saw his points at 23.5 going up against a Brooklyn team who's going to be without Ben Simmons. We know that Bradley Beal is a bucket getter, typically, historically, gets plenty of shots up, scores pretty well. Where the hell is he? I'm looking for him on the board. There he is. He's at 22.5. I thought he was at 23.5. Guys, at 22.5, I mean, does that not look interesting to you against Brooklyn tonight? 27, 26, 28, 30, and then falls short with just 22 against Minnesota. But how do you not get a little bit excited here about Bradley Beal versus this Brooklyn Nets squad? Let's just take a look at the Nets real quick. Brooklyn Nets, as far as points allowed to point guards. Now, Monty Morris is really, the point guard on this team, but let's just talk about both backcourt spots. They're giving up over 22 points per game to point guards. All right, he needs 23. He's an above average scorer, fair to say, but on average, Brooklyn's giving up about 22.2 to point guards. They're going to be without Ben Simmons, one of their better defenders. But then we go over to the shooting guard department. Now, this is Bradley Beal's true spot on this squad, right? He is their shooting guard. Monty Morris is their point guard. Brooklyn giving up over 24 points per game, fourth most. There's only 3 teams in the league giving up more points per game to opposing shooting guards than this Brooklyn Nets team is. So when I see Bradley Beal at 22.5 points and I see a Brooklyn Nets team giving up the 4th most points to shooting guards, I'm like, yo, this might be an opportunity for us to strike. And I think playing against guys like Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant is only going to bring the best out of Bradley Beal. I think he's going to get up for this game. So that's another possible play, an opportunity, right? Where is this game, by the way? Is this game in Washington? No, it's in Brooklyn. Okay. Only reason I was thinking, is it in Washington? Because I think Kevin Durant is from the D.C. area. Is he not? Correct me if I'm wrong, gang. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But I was wondering if this game was in Washington. Maybe KD, has some family or something at the Washington Wizards game. Because I think he is from the D.C. area. Could be wrong, though. Judy says, yes, he is. Thank you, Judy. Needed that confirmation. I knew I had heard that somewhere, stored in the old memory bank. But anyway, this game's in Brooklyn, so it doesn't really matter. But still, Bradley Beal at 22.5 points against a Brooklyn Nets squad who's giving it up to shooting guards. I like that. That looks pretty juicy to me. Moving down here, what else? What else we got? We got Ja Morant versus Minnesota. Maybe we go there. I'm really interested to see how this Minnesota Timberwolves team functions without Karl Anthony Towns. Like, is this young fella here, Ant Edwards, going to step up tonight? If Dillon Brooks is out, I especially like Anthony Edwards at 25.5 points. I think they did already play each other once this season, and he ended up cooking against the Memphis Grizzlies. Ant Edwards, 25.5. No Karl Anthony Towns. Somebody's going to have to step up and get buckets. Why not Ant Edwards? I don't trust D'Angelo Russell quite as much. I could see him like being more of a facilitator, setting guys up. But somebody's going to have to step up here. And this would be my guy, my pick to be somebody who goes off for like 30 points tonight against Memphis. But it's going to be interesting to see how this Minnesota Timberwolves team does without Karl Anthony Towns. Now, we talked about the Memphis Grizzlies. If Dillon Brooks is out, Ja Morant's going to need some help. He's at 30.5 points, but Ja can't do it all on his own. So I expect this young fella right here, Jaren Jackson Jr., to step up to the plate, hopefully. 19.5 points for him seems kind of high for me. I've always been a fan of Jaren Jackson Jr.'s fantasy score because he does have that shot blocking upside. He can rack up the blocks, and we know that blocks are worth 3 points apiece when it comes to fantasy score, right? So Jaren Jackson Jr. for me, probably more of a fantasy score play than like a pure points play. But if Dillon Brooks is out, like I said, Ja Morant's going to need some help from somewhere. And I think this dude, Jaren Jackson Jr., for fantasy score could be a good look. Another guy that's been getting it done at a very good clip is Mikal Bridges. We're talking about his first half PRA. I'm not sure what the number is today, but Mikal Bridges' first half PRA, high hit rates without Chris Paul, without Cam Johnson. So keep an eye on Mikal Bridges in his first half PRA going up against the Chicago Bulls. We talked about this game having a very nice total, right? Let's go back and revisit. 228.5 points. Phoenix, 5.5 point favorites. Mikal Bridges' first half PRA has been money in the bank. So keep an eye on that one. Patrick Williams, he let a lot of us down. He broke a lot of hearts the last time he played. But you know me, I like going back to a prop after a flop. So Pat Williams will be on my radar again for first half PRA, for full game fantasy score. Those are my two favorite ways to play Pat Williams. He's the type of guy who can get you those steals and blocks as well. So his fantasy score, typically my favorite way to play Pat Williams. Maybe he bounces back tonight. Going through the rest of these, Ivica Zubac versus the Utah Jazz. Listen, the Jazz are giving up a ton of points, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals, fantasy points to opposing centers. We saw Ivica Zubac hang a 31-point, 29-rebound, 4-block game on the heads of somebody a couple days ago. Ivica Zubac was absolutely on one. And he played pretty well last night. The only issue for Zubac last night is that both teams decided down the stretch they were going to sit their bigs and play small ball. So you saw fewer minutes, I would say, for Ivica Zubac last night going up against Jusuf Nurkic. If you paid attention to that game into the fourth quarter, Portland decided we're going to sit Nurkic. Clippers, Ty Lue said we're going to sit Zubac, and so that's what it was. We saw a small ball lineup. So Ivica Zubac did not get a full run of minutes last night. He should be fairly fresh tonight going up against a Utah team that, again, is just really giving it up to opposing bigs. So if we look at the center position here, we go over to the fantasy score. You see that the Utah Jazz are number 2 in the league, 60.8 fantasy points per game to opposing centers. Over 25 points per game, guys. 25.8 points per game to centers. Over 16, almost 17 rebounds per game to opposing centers. That's the third most. They give up blocks. They give up steals. They're giving up everything. All right? Hide your kids. Hide your wives, because they're giving up everything out here to opposing centers. So Ivica Zubac is in a good spot going up against the Utah Jazz. Pay attention to him. Not sure what his fantasy score and all that is looking like, but he's one to definitely have on your radar tonight. We already talked about Jamal Murray in a really good spot going up against the Houston Rockets. Let me illustrate why this is such a good spot. They give up the most points per game to point guards. No Michael Porter Jr. for Denver. Jamal Murray probably going to step into an even larger role, but over 27 points per game, the first most when it comes to points allowed. Just 5.1 rebounds per game, not really giving up a ton of boards, but they're also giving up over 10.5 assists per game to opposing point guards. Guys, that's the number one in points and the number one in assists. So you could play Jamal Murray for points. You could play Jamal Murray for assists, but I would be careful playing his full game props because this one does look like it's going to be a blowout. Denver is expected to win by double digits. So I went first half PRA for Jamal Murray the last time these two teams played, which was one game ago. He dropped 31 points on Houston, though, in that last game. So he's in a very good spot, to say the least. Again, no MPJ, bigger role here for Jamal Murray. And then, of course, there's Narrative Street here. We got Tyrese Halliburton at 19.5 points. I'm sure there's another couple other ways you could play Tyrese Halliburton, but he's going to be facing off against a team who traded him. He apparently wasn't very happy being traded from the Sacramento Kings, but such is life. You know, we don't always get what we want. Tyrese Halliburton got something that he didn't want, which was a trade to the Indiana Pacers. And I thought this guy looked really low too. De'Aaron Fox, man. Fox is sitting at 23.5 points going up against Tyrese Halliburton, his former teammate. We've seen this dude hang up 30 points in recent games. Look, I know he's been cold the last 3 games, but what better time to break a cold streak, to snap a rough patch of games than tonight going up against your former backcourt mate, right? The guy that basically you were picked over, right? The Kings could have traded De'Aaron Fox instead of Tyrese Halliburton. They could have kept Hallie and traded Fox. Many thought keeping Fox was a mistake, that they should have kept Hallie and traded Fox. Telling me Fox ain't going to go out there looking to have a good game against Tyrese Halliburton? Tell me that with a straight face. Fox is at 23.5 points. I hear you, Chris. You say Fox ruined it for me and is cold, but he's not going to stay cold forever. He's not. Not when he's dropped 33 against Detroit, 32 against John Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. This guy is too good to stay at 18, 20, and 11 points forever. You're going to have to hop back on the Fox train at some point. Why not tonight against Indiana? Why not? They're giving up about 22 points per game to point guards. I'm not saying you take his points. I'm just saying he's in a good spot. I think this is one of those games where he's going to get up and get back on board. A lot of points in this game. 242.5 points between these two teams. Somebody's going to have to score them. Why wouldn't it be De'Aaron Fox? And then you've got Domantas Sabonis. I don't really trust him to score. Hard to trust him to score points. I probably like Sabonis more for something like PRA, points and rebounds and assists. His assists on their own have hit at a very high clip, right? But Sabonis for points, pure points, I don't think I want to go there. I'm just using him, his points, this category to illustrate that Sabonis, revenge game, Indiana Pacers, right? Let's look at the Pacers real quick. As far as fantasy points allowed to opposing centers, they rank fifth most in fantasy score allowed, 57.5 fantasy points per game, going up against his former front court teammate, Miles Turner. Who wins that battle? Sabonis versus Turner? We're going to find out tonight. But yes, the Indiana Pacers still giving up a lot of fantasy points per game to opposing centers. So Sabonis would be more of like a PRA or fantasy play for me. What else do we got here? We talked about Anthony Simons. He went absolutely bonkers last night. Maybe we go back to his assists tonight. He fell short in the assist department. I took Josh Hart under on points, but listen, Josh Hart, former Los Angeles Laker, be careful taking unders on Josh Hart tonight, because Josh Hart can get into his bag against his former teams when he wants to. This guy's got a battery in his back sometimes when he goes up against his former team. So I would not take any Josh Hart unders tonight going up against his former squad, the Los Angeles Lakers. I think they've already played each other, and I want to say that Josh Hart went crazy. It was either them or the Pelicans. I can't remember, but he had one of those revenge games against his former team, and the dude went nuts. He went nuts. So be careful taking unders on Josh Hart. Be careful. But we talked about Yusuf Nurkic. He's going to be in a pretty good spot tonight going up against the Lakers. I do worry about foul trouble guarding Anthony Davis. So, I mean, that's just a quick run through of some of the spots that you guys should be taking a look at. Again, don't have anything specific in particular, but we can just quickly recap some of these for you. So, like we go NBA first half. I mentioned Jamal Murray. They didn't really bump his PRA up for first half. I think he was 14.5 in the last game. Ended up with 26, but he's been hitting his first half PRA. He's going up against Houston again tonight. Dropped 26 first half PRA on him. So that could be a good look. The other one that I mentioned for a first half PRA play was Mikal Bridges. He's at 12.5. He covered it in his last game going up against Sacramento. He's hit this at a very high clip, this 12.5. Had 13 against Sacramento, 14 against Utah, 20 against LA, 14 against New York. So keep an eye on him if you're looking for some first half plays. I like both of these. These are always good looks. These have been hitting at a very high hit rate. All right. Some of you guys are probably going to gravitate toward like a Darius Garland. He's been doing a pretty decent job at 11.5 points. Donovan Mitchell at 12.5 points. Had a bad game against Toronto, but this could be a good bounce back spot against Shake Milton and DeAnthony Melton. But it is a fairly low scoring game, so I'm a little bit cautious on this one. But both of these for first half plays have been good money, good looks. I took the under on Julius Randle yesterday. Obviously, you guys know that was a bad move because it was his birthday and he went ham. This dude right here's been low-key hitting both his full game points props and his first half only points props. He had cooled off. It had been one that I went to a lot last season. But it seems like he's back to heating up again. Grayson Allen at 5.5 first half points. You can see he's hit it in 4 straight games. Dropped 22 first half points against the Dallas Mavericks. He'll be matched up against the New York Knicks tonight. So that could be one that you put on your radar. Some of you guys are mentioning Javon Carter. Javon Carter doing a pretty good job hitting his first half points. Royce O'Neal is interesting to me without Ben Simmons. Royce O'Neal sitting at just 4.5. No Ben Simmons tonight. I think I like him more for like a PRA or fantasy score type of thing. But he could be a good look. Bradley Beal, we talked about him. Probably more of a full game point play for me. Let's go look at Bradley Beal one more time. Points. Come on, baby. Come on. Where is he? Oh, I can never find Bradley. There he is. I need him with his headband on. That's how I more easily recognize him. But yeah, going full game, you could go Bradley Beal here for more than 22.5. So, I mean, these are some options for you. I'm just throwing them out there. I'll dig into these a little bit later. But let's get to your questions, gang. Shout out your questions. Time for me to answer your questions. You start dropping them for me. I'll look at them. Super chat. If you want to leave a super chat, there's a live chat window. There's a little $ underneath that. Hit that super chat button. All right. That'll basically get you a comment that is highlighted in the live stream. It helps support the channel as well. Those super chat donations go a long way in supporting this free content that I'm dropping on you guys. So definitely use the super chat if you have something that's a pressing matter, urgent need, must have an answer type of question. All right, that helps me out. Guys, make sure you're subscribed as well. I know a lot of you are watching that haven't subscribed yet. I do free giveaways every single day. I don't know how to stress this to you enough. I'm giving away a free 2-pick every single day to win $100 on PrizePicks. If you're a PrizePicks player and your account's getting low, if your money, your balance on your account starting to run dry, right, and you need a little bump up, just make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button, and then once this replay goes live, go to the comment section, comment your favorite pick of the day, and I'm picking somebody randomly out of the comment section every single day to win a 2-pick to score $100 on PrizePicks. So this would be a good way for you to kind of get some promo funds back in your account, right? You get both of the picks and the 2-pick, right? Boom, $100 to your PrizePicks account. So definitely make sure you're subscribed, like, and then leave a comment once this replay goes live. That's how you get yourself a free 2-pick to win $100. Giving away every single day, gang. Let's run through some of these. Some of the ones that I have not talked about. Bam Adebayo rebounds is a lock. Guys, I mentioned earlier that I'm kind of waiting to see what we're going to get with this Miami Heat squad. Who's going to start? Who's going to be out? We're still pending. A lot of injury news pending for the Miami Heat, but you're saying that the the lock of the day might be Bam Adebayo's rebounds going up against the Boston Celtics. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I want to wait to see who's active for this Miami Heat team. There's a lot of pending injury news, and this game is expected to blow out with a 9-point spread favoring the Boston Celtics. We don't even have Bam Adebayo up for rebounds right now. So I can't even tell you, what his line would be if there's a line for him. But, all right, keep an eye on it. I don't even know what his line would be at. But that's one that King Tyrese is liking, so appreciate you mentioning that one. Chris Day says 178 people and only 35 likes? Ooh, come on, y'all. Y'all could do better than that. We should be running up, with 178 of you watching, we should be running the likes up to 100 every single day. I'm just saying. I'm going to start setting the line to 99.5 and seeing if you guys can hit the over. I'm going to see if you guys can hit the over. D'Angelo says hit the like button. I appreciate that. No Limits saying he's liking Colin Sexton PRA over for first half. Let's look at that one real quick because I have not went to very many Colin Sexton props this season, but without Michael Conley Jr., you might have yourself a nice little play here with Colin Sexton. Let's look at the points too. So he's hit his points in 5 straight games, 10, 11, 9, 11, and 9. So a couple of sweat fests in there, 9 against Golden State, 9 against Chicago. But 5 out of his last 5, he's hit the over on the points. The PRA, he seems to be clearing this with a little bit more ease than some of these other point props. But the PRA set at 11.5 for the first half here. He's had 13, 16, 12, that one's a little sweaty, but he got it done. 15 against Phoenix, 15 against Chicago. So this could be an interesting play. Let's go take a look at the total from this game real quick. I mentioned to you guys that the Clippers dealing with a lot of injuries. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, both going to be out tonight. Luke Kennard also out. Looks like we might see some John Wall. He's not on the injury report for tonight. So they're going to probably play John Wall on the second leg of a back-to-back. Clippers playing last night. Today would be the second leg of a back-to-back. But yeah, you got Utah with a 224.5 point total in this game with a 7-point spread favoring the Jazz. So we can use StatMuse for some first half player prop research. We'll go Colin Sexton first half points plus rebounds plus assists without, this is key, without Mike Conley logs. So he's hit the PRA in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He is 6 for 6 on first half PRA as a member of the Utah Jazz. You can also type in this season so you can filter out those Cleveland Cavalier games. And then you get, the perfect 6 for 6. Now he's 6 for 6 not only on the PRA first half, but he's also 6 for 6 on the points first half as well. So there's really no wrong way to go here, but I can understand maybe liking the PRA because he's cleared that with a little bit more headroom, we'll say, with 13, 16, 15, a little less sweaty than the points. The points on their own, he's got a couple of games in there where he's hit 9, so definitely a little bit more sweaty. So yeah, I'm kind of rocking with you on this one. I think we go Colin Sexton for more than 11.5 PRA. That's points, rebounds, and assists. So I don't mind that. Actually, let's start building something out here. I mentioned I'm going back to Jamal Murray at 14.5 first half PRA against the Houston Rockets. Dropped 26 on them. Even if he were to, let's say, take a step backwards tonight versus the Rockets, he can afford to take a pretty big step backwards and still hit the over with 15 or more PRA. So I like Jamal Murray here as well. Again, first half only play for me because this game does expect to blow out. But let's take a look at Jamal Murray's logs real quick. We already looked at the matchup. We know the matchup's going to be good. So we go Jamal Murray, first half points, rebounds, and assists logs from this season. Now, obviously, he was coming off of a major layoff, major injury. So he's kind of started the season off slow, right? But if we look at the last 8 games or so, let's count them down together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the last 9 games, we'll call it. He's hit the over in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of his last 9. 7 out of his last 9. And as I mentioned, he just put 26 PRA in the first half on the Houston Rockets' head. And they're playing Houston again tonight. Just a quick recap for those of you who might have missed. Why is this a good play? Well, we look at the Houston Rockets. They're giving up 27 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and about 10 assists, 11 assists per game. So that's like 42, 43 PRA, somewhere around there. If we cut that in half, that's like 21 to 22 PRA per half to point guards, right? 22, and he needs 15. And he's coming off a 26 against Houston in the last game. I think I'm okay with clicking the rinse and repeat button and taking Jamal Murray once again. The other one that I mentioned, and I want to dig into this a little bit further since we are starting to build out our first entry, a first half only entry, is Mikal Bridges versus Chicago. Mikal Bridges versus Chicago. I think this is a good spot for him. We're going to look into the numbers a little bit closer here, but I want to show you what he's done with this number here. Mikal Bridges, first half, points plus rebounds plus assists without Chris Paul this season. All right, this is how you can use StatMuse to help with your player prop research. Oh, and you also have to include the word logs at some point. Logs. But 12 and a half, you can kind of see what he's done here. Games without Chris Paul. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games played without CP3. He's hit in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 10. That's a 70% hit rate. Who is saying no to a 70% hit rate? I'm definitely not saying no to a 70% hit rate. That's a pretty darn good hit rate. You could also run this another way too. You could go without Cam Johnson this season and see how many games he's hit without Cam Johnson. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 games. He's hitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 12. Still isn't terrible. Not terrible. So I'm good with this. I don't mind running this back. Let's look at the DVP, defense versus position. We want to see the Chicago Bulls and how many points, rebounds, and assists they're giving up to small forwards, right? Because you got Cam Payne at point guard. You got Devin Booker at shooting guard. Mikal Bridges is going to be your small forward. You got Torrey Craig at power forward. And you got your man DeAndre Ayton manning the middle for the Phoenix Suns. So we go to the small forward spot. Chicago giving up over 24 points per game to small forwards already. Off to a fantastic start here. 8 rebounds per game. Pretty damn juicy. 32 PRA so far. And then we sprinkle in 4 assists on top of that. 36, 37 PRA, somewhere around there. That's about 18 to 19 PRA to small forwards per half. 18 to 19. This guy needs 13, and he's been hitting at a 70% hit rate without Chris Paul. We look at the game total one more time. Let's revisit that. Pretty healthy game total, 227.5 points. Plenty of offense, good pace between these two teams. I'm feeling good about this so far. Do you disagree if you're watching? If you're watching this live right now, do you disagree with any of these? Or for those of you who are catching the replay, do you disagree with any of these? Colin Sexton has hit in every single game without Mike Conley Jr. Got to go with that, right? Until he misses. Jamal Murray, running it back against Houston, has done a pretty darn good job in recent games at 14.5 PRA. Mikal Bridges at 12.5. Any of these that you disagree with? Let me know. Let me know. Appreciate you subbing, Smith G1095. Guys, hit the subscribe button if you're watching and you're not subscribed yet. We're trying to go for 7,000 today. We're really, really close. We need like less than 30 of you to hit the subscribe button, and we're going to hit 7,000 today. We're going to hit 7,000 today. I can feel it. But yeah, I think those 3 are a good start. Let's run to the super chat that Todd has left. He says, please check DeAndre Ayton for 10.5 rebounds. He's been crushing it. So my man Todd, Live for Sundays, coming through with the super chat. Appreciate you, Todd. The super chats, again, go a long way in helping support what I do here on the channel. So I appreciate you, Todd. Todd says, what about Ayton for 10.5 rebounds? He's going up against Nikola Vucevic. So far, we got 3 first half plays that I think are looking pretty good. Pretty fine. Like wine. But he wants to go over to DeAndre Ayton's rebounds real quick and take a look at those. So let's dig in. Let's dive in with my man Todd. He wants to take some DeAndre Ayton for 10.5 boards, potentially going up against the Chicago Bulls. DeAndre Ayton, 11, 15, 12, 21, and 12 boards. But we cannot fall for the old okie doke, right? What do I mean by that? Well, we open up the logs here, and PrizePicks does a great job. Shout out to PrizePicks. Kudos to them for giving us the last 5 game logs. Now, hit rates are one part of the equation, but it shouldn't be the entire part of the equation. In other words, you should not base your decision solely on what a guy has been doing in his last 5 games. He's averaging 14.2 rebounds per game, nearly 4 rebounds higher than his total projection of 10.5 today. But this is just one step, right? Looking at the last 5 games is just one step. We already talked about the total from this game. Big total, 227.5. Pretty healthy, pretty meaty total there. 5.5 point spread. What about the matchup? So let's go look at the DVP real quick. Defense versus position. How many rebounds per game are the Chicago Bulls giving up to opposing centers? Well, we got to go down. Down, all the way down, because they're only giving up 12 rebounds per game to opposing centers. Now, you're going to probably look at that number and say, yeah, but isn't 12 more than 10.5? Yeah, it is more than 10.5, but this is 12 rebounds per game to opposing centers. Centers with an S at the end of it, meaning all of the centers that they face on a given team, not just the starting center. The starting center is DeAndre Ayton, yes indeed, but there are other centers on this Phoenix Suns team. Bismack Biyombo, I'm looking at you, who get minutes and get rebounds. So they're giving up 12 rebounds a game to opposing centers, not just to the starting center. So we got to keep that in mind. So he needs at least 11. They're giving up 12. Which means he's got to get nearly every single rebound that the Chicago Bulls have been giving up on a per game basis this season, which is difficult, right? I don't think we can expect DeAndre Ayton to get every single one of the 12 rebounds that they're giving up. Not when there's another center in Bismack Biyombo playing behind him. Now, I also have been looking more at the last 7 games to see, are these teams trending up? Are they trending down? Are they allowing more rebounds, less rebounds in the last 7 days versus this season? Well, guys, they're allowing less rebounds in the last 7 days to opposing centers. The average has actually dropped down to 11 per game. Fewer rebounds to opposing centers in the last 7 games versus all of the games from this season. So it is trending in the wrong direction if you're thinking about taking the over on DeAndre Ayton. This is why we do what we do. This is why we look into it further, right? Bulls only giving up 12 per game, second fewest for the season. Bulls only giving up 11 per game, the first fewest in the last 7 games. Trending in the wrong direction if you're thinking about taking the over on DeAndre Ayton. Now you can take your research a step further if you want, if you've got time, if you've got the resources. Here's a great resource for you. It's NBA.com, totally free website. They've got an NBA advanced stats page for you to go and take a look at. What am I doing on here today? Well, I'm looking at the players. I'm looking at tracking, and I'm wanting to track rebounding numbers. What rebounding numbers? Well, specifically, I want to look at rebound chances. How many rebound opportunities is DeAndre Ayton getting on a per game basis? We could go and we can find that. That information is available to us. So we click the Phoenix Suns. We click get stats, we scroll down, we get our scroll on, and we could look at the rebound chances for DeAndre Ayton are sitting at 14.2 per game. 14.2 rebound chances per game. He is by far head and shoulders above everyone else on the Phoenix Suns this season in rebound chances. He's turned those 14.2 rebound chances into 9.6 rebounds per game. So he's a whole rebound higher at 10.5 today than what he's averaged for this season at 9.6. And he's in a very bad matchup, at least on paper, right? DVP, bad matchup. Chicago, ranking last or second to last, however you want to look at it, depending on the time span, in rebounds allowed to opposing centers. So I'm not sold on DeAndre Ayton finding 11 rebounds, despite the success he's had against New York, LA, Detroit, Utah, and Sacramento. Right? Last 5 games, he's hit the over at 10.5. But this is not an easy matchup for him on paper. Let's get you a projection here. We've got projections provided by Action Labs. Now, he is at 10.5 rebounds on all major sports books today, but he is a betting favorite to go under. The public pessimistic on DeAndre Ayton's chances of 11 or more rebounds. They're betting the under at 10.5. Pretty good juice coming in, minus 135 odds to stay under 10.5. So this does not look like a home run, despite a lot of green. 5 out of 5. He's projected for 11.7 boards. Betting favorite to go under. Really tough matchup from what it looks like on paper. So I would say be careful with DeAndre Ayton. I would either take him under or I would fade him and just walk away. Going back to our first half only entry here, we've got 3 solids, I think. Sexton, Murray, Bridges. Has anyone pointed out anything that they don't like about this first half PR or this first half only play that we've built so far? Jarrell's saying it's all good. I think he's talking about us. LaShonda's mentioning, what about Nick Claxton's PRA or fantasy for first half? LaShonda, you must have tuned in a couple days ago because we did take Nick Claxton for more than his first half PRA versus the Orlando Magic, and he ended up hitting. He ended up coming through clutch. Going back to the first half category here, I mentioned a guy in Grayson Allen who has been doing a pretty good job here with 5.5 first half points, 10, 6, 8, and 22. What about his PRA? Well, he's hit this in 4 straight with 16, 11, 13, and 25. So that's a good look. What about his fantasy score? He's hit that in 4 straight, 17.5, 12.6, 13.6, and 35.2. Huge game against Dallas. So you could take Grayson Allen in any of these ways. Let's look at the DVP for Grayson Allen. He's going to be your shooting guard, right? You've got, I guess they've been starting 2 guards. They've been starting, I think, Drew Holiday, Javon Carter, Grayson Allen, I think has been in the starting lineup. Let's just double check. Real quick. Going up against New York, yeah, Drew Holiday, Javon Carter, Grayson Allen, all in the starting lineup tonight. Going up against the New York Knicks with a nice little 228-point total. So we'll call Grayson Allen shooting guard / small forward now with Javon Carter in the starting lineup. Let's just take a look at this Knicks team real quick. The New York Knicks, points allowed to, what are we on? Shooting guards? New York Knicks, points allowed to shooting guards. Where they at? My eyes are failing me. 24 points allowed per game to shooting guards is a healthy number. 24 points allowed to shooting guards is a healthy number. They're also giving up 6 rebounds and about 5 assists per game. So you kind of combine all those numbers, 24 plus the 6, that's 30, plus another like 5 for assists. All right, you're at like 35, 36 PRA to shooting guards per game in the last 7 games. So if we cut that in half, that's about 18 first half PRA or 12 first half points allowed to shooting guards in the last 7 games. Right? So that looks good. What about small forwards? Are the Knicks any better or worse against small forwards? They're actually worse. They're giving up about 25, 26 points per game to small forwards, about 8 rebounds. So let's go ahead and combine those numbers, right? We're looking at like 32, 33 just in points and rebounds, another 4 assists on top of that, maybe about 37 to 38. So that's like 19 first half or second half PRA per game to small forwards. Again, he would only need 9 PRA and about 25 to 26 points. So that's like 12 to 13 first half or second half points allowed to shooting guards. So I think he's in a great spot. I don't see anything about the New York Knicks that scares me whatsoever. In fact, it looks like a fine way to go here. It seems like he's been clearing the PRA with greater headroom, right? 16, 11, 13, and 25 than the points. I mean, the points have been hitting too, but he had like 6 against Chicago. So I think, the more ways that a player can rack up or tally points for me, the better I feel about it. So I think for me, I'm going to go PRA on Grayson Allen. First half. I think I'm happy with that. With how many PRA the Knicks are giving up to shooting guards and small forwards, I like this. I'm taking that one. I think we've got 4 really solid first half only options. First half only. We got another super chat coming in here from Osmosis Jones. Appreciate you with the super chat. He's looking at Paolo Banchero, rebounds, maybe Al Horford points. Speaking of Al Horford's first half PRA has been hitting at a very nice rate, and it's no surprise here that we do not have him up on the PrizePicks board. But he's at 4.5 points. I mean, does that seem right to you guys? 4.5 points for Al Horford? 4.5 just seems like really low, especially if like Jaylen Brown's out again. He's going up against Miami and Bam Adebayo. Let's just see how many points they're giving up to centers, because you're asking about Al Horford like full game points, I'm assuming. But what about Al Horford at 4.5 first half points? Is that like just way too low or what? All right, so Miami's given up about 19 points per game in the last 7 games, 5th fewest to centers. But even if we like chop that in half, that's still like 9 to 10 points per half that they're giving up to opposing centers. This guy needs 5 points. How many times does he hit this? Now I'm curious. Now you got me going down the Al Horford rabbit hole. Al Horford first half points logs this season. Let's look at it. They just pulled Al Horford's fantasy score off the board. Did you guys see that? Or am I tripping? They just pulled Al Horford's fantasy score off the board. His first half points are set at 4.5. Let's look at that real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 games played. He's hit the over in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 out of 17 doesn't sound terrible to me. He did play Miami back on 10-21. Had 6 first half points against Miami in that game. I kind of want to take a shot on Al Horford scoring 5 points. He knocks down a 3 and then just finds like one other little stray bucket, and I feel like he's good. I don't know, man. It just seems very low at first glance. What about Al Horford's first half points logs versus the Heat? He has hit this in his most recent stint with the Boston Celtics in 1, 2, 3 out of 4 games versus Miami. What do you think, gang? Are we in on Al Horford scoring 5 first half points against the Heat? Talk to me. Talk to me, baby. I think we got some solid first half plays lined up here. Colin Sexton's PRA, Jamal Murray's PRA, Mikal Bridges' PRA, Grayson Allen's PRA, Al Horford's points. You don't trust Al Horford? Ay, ay, ay. All right. All right, you're saying you don't trust it. I mean, he's got some pretty good career hit rates here. 4.5 points just seems pretty damn low. Okay, they put it back up. They put his fantasy score back up at 13.5. First half FanDuel points logs this season. 13.5. How many times has he hit that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's not terrible either. I think the points had hit at a higher clip. You guys are saying he's not dependable. Miami is a switch everything team. Damn. Y'all are doubting my boy Horford. 4.5 points. All right, that's going to be a controversial pick. You guys are saying stay off of it. I'll stay off of it. Back to my guy's super chat. He's also asking about Paolo Banchero's rebounds. You guys are saying stay away from Horford today. Okay, well. What about Paolo Banchero's rebounds? I'm taking the wait and see approach, I think, for Paolo Banchero. He is at 7 boards. Are you thinking about going over or under, my friend, Osmosis Jones? Over or under on Banchero? He's gone under in 4 straight games. Now, he just recently made his return to the starting lineup. 4 against Philly, 1 against Philly, and 4 against Brooklyn. So you got to let me know. Are you thinking about going under or over here? But let's look at the last 4 games. We could look at rebound chances for Paolo Banchero. We're still kind of waiting on Orlando Magic news. Got some pending Orlando Magic news. We're not sure if Mo Bamba's going to play. If Mo Bamba is out, what starting lineup do we go with the Orlando Magic? They might start Mo Wagner at center. They could move Bol to center against Clint Capella tonight. Have 2 of the longest, lankiest guys in the world out there playing against each other. Bol versus Clint Capella could be fun. I think Clint's a little too big for Bol. So maybe they would start Mo Wagner at center if Mo Bamba isn't available to go. But Wendell Carter Jr. is out. We know Isaac's out. We know OKK is out. And we also know that Jalen Suggs is out tonight. So Banchero could be playing with Mo Bamba. They could move Bol to center. They could start Mo Wagner at center if Mo Bamba doesn't want to play. But I'm assuming you're wanting to go under here since Paolo Banchero hasn't hit 7 rebounds since November 5th against Sacramento. But let's look at the last few games here for the Orlando Magic and take a look and see what like the rebound chance distribution has looked like for this team. So you can pick your favorite team, in this case the Orlando Magic. We can look at the last 4 games as far as season segment goes. Click get stats on that. And you see that Bol, son of Manute Bol, is leading the Orlando Magic in rebound chances per game in the last 4 games with 11 rebound chances. This is very much a team rebounding squad here. What you can kind of tell and kind of see from what we're seeing in the rebound chances in the last 4 games is that there is not one guy who is extremely higher in rebound chances than the next. Yes, Bol's leading the team with 11, but then you got Franz Wagner right behind him at 8.8 rebound chances. Admiral Schofield at 7.3. One of the best names in the NBA, I might add. Admiral Schofield. You've got Mo Wagner, who I mentioned could enter the starting lineup if Mo Bamba is out tonight. Mo Wagner at 7.3 rebound chances. Paolo Banchero also sitting at 7.3. So we got a 3-way tie between Admiral Schofield, Mo Wagner, and Paolo Banchero. Banchero, last 4 games, he's played in 3 of them, according to this, has turned those 7.3 rebound chances into just 3 rebounds per game. So, again, I don't trust any of these Orlando Magic players. I guess if you're going to go anyway, maybe you take the under on Banchero, but I wouldn't take the under on Banchero if Mo Bamba's out or somebody like that, because they're going to be pretty thin without Mo Bamba, without Wendell Carter Jr., right? Somebody's going to have to rebound the ball. Could be Bol, could be Banchero. I'm just staying away from the Magic in general, though. I just don't trust them. Not a big fan. Not very trusting of my own team. I know. Hate to say it, Osmosis Jones, but let's get you a projection on Banchero's rebounds, though. We can at least do that for you. I got Banchero projected for 7.6 rebounds. He is at 6.5 on the books. He is a betting favorite to go over on the books. Minus 135, minus 140. So he's getting some positive traction from the bettors out there who are betting online. They think that Banchero is good for at least 7 boards tonight, despite the fact that he's had his struggles in the last few games. They think tonight is a good night to take the over. 7 or more rebounds for Banchero. That's what they think. That's what they think. Power forwards, last 7 games, rebounds against the Atlanta Hawks, about 11 per game. That is the 5th most, 5th highest. I just think there's so many other games. There's so many other props. Why sweat this one? Why sweat this one when you could find something easier, better? But there you go. There's all the information I can give you on Paolo Banchero's rebounds. Osmosis Jones says, have faith in the Magic. Well, I do have faith in us. I do have faith in us long-term, short-term, and especially Paolo Banchero's rebounds. I don't know if I have a whole lot of faith in that. What I would maybe have a little bit more faith in is like pairing Paolo Banchero's rebounds with like his points. right? Because we know Banchero's got it in him to go for a, 25-point game. Then he'd only need a few rebounds to go in with that. So if you're on a site, a book, wherever you play your basketball props that offers like a points and rebounds combo, I kind of feel more confident in him having like points and rebounds than just the rebounds alone. Because even if he ends up with 5 boards, let's just say 23 points, 5 boards, he's there at 28. So I think that could be a look. That could be a look. Game is life. We talked about 8 and rebounds. Are you liking the over or under on them? We talked about those 8 rebounds pretty extensively. In fact, pretty extensively. Bout It says, how about Bull under rebounds for full game? Again, guys, you're picking one of the most frustrating teams in all of basketball to bet on, in my opinion. I'm an Orlando Magic fan. If you can figure out from game to game what these Orlando Magic players are going to do, go play the lottery, because your chances of winning the lottery are better than trying to figure out what the Orlando Magic will do from game to game. But I would wait on the Mo Bamba news before you touch any Magic props. Just saying. So many games tonight. 13 games, 26 teams, and a million props. And you want to pick the Orlando Magic. I would just say look elsewhere. Just trying to help you guys avoid this. Look elsewhere. All right. It's 1:31 p.m. We are going into overtime here. Or we are in overtime as it stands. We've talked about a lot. I want to lock in at least one entry with you guys today. I think we've got 4 solids right here with Colin Sexton's PRA first half, Jamal Murray's 14.5 PRA first half, Mikal Bridges 12.5 PRA first half, and we got Grayson Allen at 8.5 PRA first half. What other first halves are we thinking about here? Is there any other ones that we can add to this? Do we want to stop at 4? We could stop at 4 here and still get like a good little 5x payout, right? If we flex this, we go 4 for 4, we'll hit, 5x. We could turn 25 into 125. Do we want to push our luck? Do we want to bump this up to a 5 pick or even go for a 6 pick? Told you guys yesterday, I got very lucky, very fortunate. For those of you who are just getting here, I hit this 6 pick same game parlay last night. Los Angeles Clippers, Portland Trail Blazers. Turn 25 into 625 on a little same game parlay. Do we want to try to go for that 6 for 6 on this first half only entry? Or do we stop and make it just a 4 pick? Do it big. Gutta says do it big. Do it big. Joey Jones wants to go 6 pick. Damn. Y'all are some savages. How much do we trust Grayson Allen 1 to 10? Just judging by the matchup looks good. He's showing good form recently, right? 4 straight games, he's hit the first half points, the first half PRA, the first half fantasy score. Denham Banks is going to fade Grayson Allen. You can. I won't. Maybe I'll regret it. I could live to regret it. It's all right. We're gambling. Nobody knows anything. We're all guessing here. We're all guessing. Even me. Go big or go home. Koyo says, let's make it a 6 pick. All right. Well, then if we're going to make it a 6 pick, first half only 6 pick, I'm going to need 2 more picks. I'm going to need 2 more picks. Jared Vanderbilt. Oh boy. Jared Vanderbilt first half. My first reaction is hail to the gnaw, but let me look into it a little bit further because you guys keep spamming Jared Vanderbilt in here, so he must be doing something special. He's doing something that's got your attention. 9.5 for his first half PRA, 17, 4, 12, 10, and 15. 15. Man. Against the Clippers, short-handed Clippers. Damn it, man. Y'all are really wanting to go with Jared Vanderbilt. Tell me why. y'all got to defend this pick because it's Jared Vanderbilt. Y'all got to tell me why, man. Defend this pick to me. Explain it to me. All right, Jared Vanderbilt. I wouldn't call him the power forward. I'm giving that to Lauri Markkanen. I'm calling Jared Vanderbilt more of the small forward here. Clippers are shorthanded, so there's that. Easier matchup, right? They're giving up about 22, 8, and 3 when it comes to PRA. So we call that like 33 PRA to small forwards. If we slice that in half, it's about 16 to 17 PRA per half to small forwards, which is a pretty good ceiling, right, for this guy. He's at 9.5. Are we really wanting to go here, gang? He did have 17 on November 21st against the Clippers. You're right about that. But damn it, man. Jared Vanderbilt for first half? Y'all got me feeling unsure, uneasy. Let's look at this a little bit closer here. Jared Vanderbilt's first half points plus rebounds plus assist logs this season. Please tell me he's hitting this at a high rate. I mean, damn. I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21. All right, so how many times out of 21 has he hit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 out of 21 ain't good enough, man. I need more. I need more. I feel you, though. What about somebody else from this game? We just talked about him having a monster game, right? This dude, he's going against Utah. You want to talk about matchups? We can talk about matchups real quick. Last 7 games, Utah giving up over 25 points, over 16 rebounds, and over 4 assists per game. Do we trust this big guy? That's about 41, 45, about 45, 46 points, rebounds, and assists to centers. All right, we slice that number in half. We're talking about 23 PRA to centers on a per half basis. He needs 14. And he's going up against Kelly Olynyk, Lauri Markkanen, and the guy you want to take, Jared Vanderbilt. Do we trust Ivica Zubac, who's put up 32 against Miles Turner in Indiana and 17 against Yusuf Nurkic in the Portland Trail Blazers? No PG, no Kawhi Leonard, no Luke Kennard tonight. So Clippers will be shorthanded, and it's a great spot, great matchup for this guy. Do we trust Ivica Zubac to join our entry here? It's a great spot. It is a great spot for him. Got to give him that. What about Ivica Zubac? First half points plus rebounds plus assists versus Olynyk. Logs. I just want to see how he's done against Kelly O. Little sussy sus. All right, he has played Utah twice this season. Had just 6 PRA back in November 6th. But more recently, November 21st, he had 17 with 10, 6, 1 in 14 minutes of play. After Diabate played well last night, I think Zubac's minutes will now shrink. I don't think so. I think it was more of a situational thing with Zubac. I don't think his minutes are going to shrink. I really don't. I think that was just more game flow, matchup based. I don't think he's going to lose minutes. Not coming off of the game that he just put up, man. You don't just like sweep 31 and 29 under the rug. He had that 2 games ago, right? 31 points, 29 rebounds. You don't just forget about that in 2 games, right? Against Indiana, went crazy, went berserk on Miles Turner. I trust him. I'm going with it. It doesn't get a whole lot better than big guys against the Utah Jazz. I'm just saying. They're giving up the sixth highest points at 25.5 to centers. Rebounds, they're giving up over 16. That is the seventh most. And they're giving up about 4 assists per game, which puts them right around the top 10. They're like top 10 in points, rebounds, and assists in all 3 categories. And y'all don't want to take this? Let's ride. PrizePicks Nation, let's ride. Ivica Zubac, I'm going with it. Over 13.5 PRA. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means we got one spot here. One vacancy. One open space for somebody to slide into this 6 pick. No Limit saying Shake Milton over PRA first half. I'm gonna leave Shake Milton out. Siakam. I've seen some Siakam. Fernanda Sebastian is mentioning some Pascal Siakam. Again, I'm gonna tell you guys, if you don't agree with any of this, don't take it. Don't take it. This is my money. All right. This is my money. This is what I'm doing with my money, my choice, my decision. But I am doing the research. I'm laying it all out on the table for you to see. If you disagree with something, if your little belly saying, don't do it, I don't trust Zubac, I don't trust Vanderbilt. If your little belly saying, don't trust these guys, don't play it, man. Don't play it. All right. No pressure. Nobody's got a gun to your head or anything. Pascal Siakam. 16.5. First half PRA, 10.5. First half points. These are both looking rather juicy. Let's run it. Pascal Siakam. First half points plus rebounds plus assist logs this season. Anybody got Scotty Barnes news? Scotty Barnes in or out? Scotty Barnes in or out? Let me know if you know. But yeah, the first half PRA looking great. Tony the Tiger, great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My guy has hit an 8 of 10. 8 of 10. Lovely. What about the games he's missed? Well, he had 4 first half fouls. Probably played less minute. No, he played 18 minutes. Had 4 personals, but probably couldn't play as aggressive as he wanted to with 4 personals. But he failed against Miami. Those are the only 2 teams that has held this man down. Well, it's only one team, but those are the only 2 games in which he has been held down was against the Miami Heat. The Heat, for whatever reason, locked Pascal Siakam down in the first half. Outside of that, 24, 24, 21, 25, 25, 27, 30, and 25. Scotty is playing, but he's coming off the bench. I think I like that even more, man. Do I like that even more? I might like that even more. Let me look at this Cleveland game real quick. Who did the Raptors start? They started OG, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, Thaddeus Young, and Juancho Hernangomez. Against a tough Cleveland team, too. All right, had to mute myself. Boy, I had to clear that throat. God damn. Pascal Siakam, though, 16.5. First half PRA. He did this without Scotty Barnes in the starting lineup. Crushed against the Cleveland Cavaliers. No, Jared Allen wasn't playing, but he still had himself a very good 18, 11, 5 type of game. Okay. I think I'm in, man. I'm on board. Let's just look at the matchup real quick before we lock it in. Before we go and put it in our entry. Let's go find the New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans, where you at? Where you at, boys? About 19 points per game. About 9 rebounds. So that's like, what, 28 roughly? Plus 2 assists. About 30. They're not giving up a ton of PRA to power forwards, my friends. They are not giving up a ton of PRA to power forwards. So like on paper, it's not looking like the best matchup ever. Not looking like the best matchup ever. I know he's hitting it though. He's crushing it. Y'all are saying Pascal's a lock. Well, damn. When you say it's a lock, then I should just put everything on it, right? Because it can't miss. Locks don't fail. Hard for me to not like what I'm seeing here. The only team that has held him in check again is the Miami Heatians. Outside of that, smashing 24, 24, 21, 25, 25, 27, 30, and 25. My guy. How do I say no to that? What about his points? His points are at 10.5. What's got the better hit rate? 8 out of 10, right? What about just the points? He's hit this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of 10. The points are actually hitting at a higher rate. So he did drop 11 points on the Miami Heat. Are we taking points or PRA? Talk to me on the Pascal Siakam. Points have the higher hit rate. Everybody's saying, well, what it looks like is a lot of you were saying PRA, but I'm seeing some points here. 90% hit rate on 10.5 points. 90% hit rate on 10.5 points. 80% hit rate on 16.5 first half PRA. Do we just go with the one that's hitting at the higher rate? Do we make it that easy on ourselves? Or should we go to the PRA instead? T-Bone's going points. Todd says coin flip. Mr. R. Lopez saying points. If he gets 11 points and not 6 more boards or assists, I'll be stunned. Facts. Is he the first scoring option? I would say that he is probably up there. Him and Fred VanVleet, probably your top 2 options. Siakam, points. To complete the 6th pick for a chance at 25 times our money. All right, that's where it's going to stay. Haven't hit submit or place entry just yet. Maybe you guys can change my mind. Anthony Garces coming through with the super chat saying, what about Clint Capella's first half points versus Orlando? Before you go and do anything, look at Clint Capella. All right, let's do it. He's at 5.5 points. He's going up against my Orlando Magic. Let me look at one more thing, by the way. Pascal Siakam first half points logs versus the Pelicans. Okay. He's only went over this 1, 2, 3 times in his career. What about those PRAs against the Pels? Again, 1, 2, 3. Only 3 times in his career has he gone over this first half number. Ooh. Does that scare y'all? Knowing that he's only done it 3 times in his career? 4 times on the points. 4 times on the points. All right. 4 times on the points. Only 3 times on the PRA. I think I'm going with the points. I think I'm rocking with the points. If Siakam makes the cut. Let's look at Clint Capella real quick though. Clint Capella first half points logs this season. We got Capella at 5.5. He's hit this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. And I think they've already played Orlando once. They did. And he had 6 points against Orlando back on October 21st. So well over a month ago. So 6 points against Orlando in that game. Barely limping over. The hit rates just aren't as juicy for me right here. Are we feeling that? It's looking a little dry. It's not looking as wet as we would like. Not looking as wet as I might like. 12.5 PRA. What about those? That might be the better route. Let me get another one count on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Out of 19, he's hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 out of 19. That's close to 50%. A little higher than 50%. What about the PRA then? 12 and a half. You sit that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 19. So, no, I can't do it, man. I cannot do it. This feels like a guard kind of game to me anyways. Like, Orlando might be really undersized tonight. Like, Capella could dominate if Mo Bamba's out. Clint Capella, PRA versus Magic logs. Let's look at these. He's hit the PRA versus Orlando in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are going back to Houston Rocket days. 9. What about the points? Just the points. Clint Capella, 5.5 points. 1, 2, 3. 3 out of his last 5. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know, man. I agree though. Bigs against Orlando is typically a good move, good look. But I can't put him in over Siakam. Just doesn't feel right. I can't put him in over Siakam. Doesn't feel right. Tony Ruiz says, hit that like button. I'm just here to read the comments. I appreciate you, Tony. Thank you for the super chat, my guy. Milton? Shake Milton? We like Shake Milton that much that Richard is calling me out saying I won't touch him. Why do we like Shake Milton so much? First half what? First half what? Points? FanDuel points? All right. D'Anthony Melton, 14.5. But you guys are talking about Shake Milton at 15.5. All right, so he's hitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight games. And now we're bricked up for him. Guys, he's going against Cleveland. Going against Garland and Mitchell. Garland and Mitchell. Let's look and see how many points, or fantasy points per game they're giving up to point guards. They're dead last, 36.4 in the last 7 games. They are giving up the fewest fantasy points per game to point guards. Joel Embiid is also back. Where does that leave Shake Milton? Wow. What is it about this matchup that you're loving, other than the green bars in the little window that PrizePicks provides us here? What is it about this that you're liking beyond the fact that he's, hitting all these games? I mean, you have to weigh in the matchups too, right? Like, yeah, he's hit in what, 5 or 6 in a row, but it's also the worst matchup you could ask for. King United says, it won't be today that I put my cold hard cash on Shake Milton. Let's review. Colin Sexton, PRA. Jamal Murray, first half PRA. Mikal Bridges, first half PRA. Grayson Allen, first half PRA. Ivica Zubac, first half PRA. And Pascal Siakam, first half points. All right, this is what I'm going with. Take one, none, or some. The choice is yours. I'm gonna put. Let's make it 20. Let's make it 26.88. 26.88. First half only, 6 pick to go for $672. 26.88. First half only, 6 pick to go for $672. Listen, the chances of this hitting are very low. Let's be honest. Let's be transparent. Let's keep it real. Chances of this of hitting 6 out of 6 are very low. Don't risk a lot of money on this if you want to tail it. All right. Play within your means, $5. You could even put $1 on it later once the happy hour goes live. Put $1 on it, maybe it hits 6 out of 6. Maybe we get extremely lucky and we hit for 25x. But the chances of all 6 of these guys going 6 for 6 are low. They are. The odds of hitting this are very low. All in, $901.88 would net us $22,547. Sounds like a honest day's work to me if I've ever seen one. Is this the day where I go all in and make PrizePicks pay me $22,547? No, it's not. It's not. No, it's not. But I am okay with $26.88. We take that $1.88 that's hanging out there. We put it on top of this $25. I am okay with that. I'm okay with that. Don't sell your soul for the picks. You're right, brother. You're right. We got to have some money to play with tomorrow, right? Let's go. Let's go. We got it. We've got 6 picks that look good to me. Sexton over first half PRA, Murray over first half PRA, Bridges over first half PRA, Allen over first half PRA, Zubac over first half PRA, and my guy Pascal Siakam for the 10.5 first half points. Again, don't feel like you have to take all 6. Maybe there's 1 or 2 that you really like out of these 6. Maybe you just take those. Make a 2-pick power play out of it. I should probably do that. I probably will do that. I'll probably round robin these, put them in some 2 picks, 3 picks, flex them. But yeah, you could create different combinations, different variations using these 6. I think they all look like solid options. Maybe we go 0 for 6. Hell, nobody knows, right? We don't know anything. We're guessing here. With that being said, it's been like 2 hours, gang. I got to get out of here. Good luck tonight. If you're in Patreon, if you're in Discord, I'm going to be doing some more research, posting some more picks. We're on a 12-2 run in Patreon the last 3 days. 12 wins, 2 losses over the last 3 days. We're going to look to keep it going tonight. $20 a month. Appreciate you guys. If you're thinking about joining, wait till tomorrow, December 1st. Till then, see ya.